Hey guys, this is Ray. Welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be doing something a little bit different than usual. Not really any trading cards, but going over some comic books from my childhood collection. Swami kind of inspired me to do this, so shout out Swami. Hopefully you can get some enjoyment out of seeing some of these older comics. I was collecting some of these in the early 2000s, late 90s. Just a big fan of Batman. Used to go out to the comic book shops with my friend Steve or Comic Cons, just grabbing whatever I thought looked cool. I didn't read a ton of these. I always just really enjoyed the art on the actual comic themselves, kind of like how I enjoyed Pokemon. You know, I'd take and just put it right in a sleeve. It's kind of how I did with my comic book collecting. I would sometimes read the storyline synopsises online if I could, but mostly this was just me going to a comic book shop, picking up what I thought was really, really cool art, and taking it home with me when I could afford it. In this case, I typically was collecting Frank Miller or Jim Lee style comics or whatever else I thought looked cool, but really you'll see there's a lot of Frank Miller and Jim Lee in a lot of this collection. But starting off with Batman and Robin, The Boy Wonder, I remember I was really pumped for when this was coming out. I don't believe this was ever finished, and I don't think I have the whole set. A lot of this stuff is going to be, I was 12 to 14 years old, not a lot of money, so I would pick up what I could, so a lot of it may be incomplete sets, but this is what you can kind of see the leftovers of a childhood collection. Never really sold, I never really sold any of this. This has always just been kind of sitting in my closet, so I never recorded it, so let's have some fun. Here is issue number 1, the variant cover. I think this was a little bit rarer than the regular number 1 issues, the Frank Miller variants at least. Frank Miller always has a way to draw stuff a little bit more brutal than the typical comic book penciler. So I enjoy Batman just punching this cop right in the face. His Batman was a little bit more grissom. All right, or grizzled. Here's a Jim Lee Batman. Another Jim Lee Robin. Just gonna put these right here. Another, I believe Jim Lee here. Just, Jim Lee has such an epic way to draw some of this stuff. Now, I'm not seeing his signature on here, but when I looked it up, it said he penciled this. So I don't know if, I'm sure when someone else inked it, I don't know if he just puts a signature on it, but yeah. Here's issue number 2. Well, I guess they're both issue numbers 2, so that'll be the Jim Lee cover. And this is the Frank Miller. As you can see, once again, just a little more brutal. You get the blood spatter. It's just so awesome. Here's our Jim Lee for number 3. Our Frank Miller for number 3. I believe that's Black Canary, right? Can someone correct me if I'm wrong. Not too familiar with who that is. Jim Lee number 4. Just so good. Our Jim Lee, or Frank Miller for number 4. Frank Miller Superman, which is just ridiculous. I think what I love about Frank Miller's art a lot of the times is just so simple yet kind of like just distorted and his own thing. I mean, just look how it's like somewhat cheesy the S looks on the Superman here. I mean, it's just awesome. Number 6, shout out Swami. He'll like this one. Frank Miller, number 6. the earrings. I'm guessing that's what that is. Number 7. And that's actually all I have, I believe, for, oh, these are a little bit out of order. Oh, this is a good one. Number 8, with Frank Miller. Man, I remember I picked this one up from my local comic book shop, actually, when I moved to Florida. And I saw it there, and I was like, okay, gotta have it. This one was an expensive one for a while. I don't know what it's doing right now, but I remember being really happy when I found it. And number 9. All right, I think that's it for Batman and Robin, what I have for it. Yep. So put these away. And there was the All-Star. Now, I didn't collect much Superman as a kid, but I always really liked this art, so that's why I picked it up. Batman Year One, if you're not familiar with, kind of like one of the more important storylines in Batman history. I don't believe I have part 1, but I do have the rest of them. I could never find part 1 for cheap as a kid. I believe it is a 4-part series. Sure, everybody knows what this is. These are all first print runs for The Dark Knight Returns, one of the more famous comics in Batman history, as well as just, you know, ever, in my opinion. Dark Knight 2. Dark Knight Strikes Again. I have, I think, 2 copies of these each. And that would be the variants. Oh, here we go. Here's some more Superman. All-Star Superman. Alright, guys, I didn't really put these in any kind of order. Let's see. Number 1, the variant. 2, 3, number 4, 5. This is a cool one. The dog. 8. I like this one too. 9. So I believe that's all I have for those. I believe this is one of the first, if not the first, comics that Jim Lee had to do with in terms of Batman, which is Gotham Knights #1. Now, dude named Johnson drew this, so this isn't going to be his art, but I don't know if he penciled this or not, Jim Lee. Either way, I remember seeing this as a comic shop as a kid and thought this was just so cool. Yeah. Now, I have a really, really large print run of, or large number of comics from Gotham Knights. This is pretty popular when I was a kid, at least. So quickly try to run through these. Okay. Looks like they're a little bit out of order. Probably some of the ones that I could actually get. Scarecrow. You see Joker at the top there, by the way. It's cool seeing a lot of this stuff again. Like I said, as a kid, I didn't really read much of this. I just really always was buying these for the cover arts. Start kind of going through some of these a little bit faster because these aren't going to be as popular as like some of the ones I was showing already. Keep going here. I may have skipped a few, but like War Games, Arc, Mr. Freeze, Hush, maybe more Hush. There we go. Looks like that might be it. For Gotham Knights, we have Secrets here. And with Journey into Night. Number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so now we get into Legend of the Dark Knight from 91, 92-ish, I think. Maybe a little bit earlier, but this is the annual, 92 annual. I believe number 3 annual. Yep. Number 3 annual. I don't have number 4 annual, it looks like, but number 5, 95 annual, and 96. We start getting into the number 1. So this came out in 89. Legend of the Dark Knight. The first new solo Batman book since 1940. And here's all the variants. And, I mean, like how you can see Batman's mask in here. Very old school. Well, very 90s, I should say. So if I remember right with these, it's been a while, so forgive me. But each one of these kind of had, like the Legend of the Dark Knight comic, I think had like individual sub-stories that were all very small. See how like we went from Prey to Venom here. The first one was Shaman, I think. Faith. I believe they all had different writers too. Flyer. Destroyer. Faces. It's cool. Family. Blades. It's by Tim Sale. I don't know. Is he fighting Zorro? I don't know who that is. Destiny. Look at this dude. Mercy. Oh boy. That's about as 1992 as it gets right there. Man, what do you want to think about? His name's like Bruno or something. Oh man. I don't have too many left here. That's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Forgot about this one. This is a badass comic cover. Apparently Joker and Batman are fighting in the ocean. That's cool. I haven't seen some of these for a long time. Even has the smell, the old comic book smell still. Yes, this was a very long series. It went for a very long time. We're up to 96 right now. It started in 89. can almost start to see some of the differences in the art, the titling. You know, it's great. I like that Riddler. That's cool too. I always thought this one was kind of weird. This is the last couple we'll do for this video here. Damn, it's cool. Oh man, look at this dude. So that's one long box that I have, guys. I'm gonna put this back here just so I can have myself a thumbnail. But just want to say thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment. It's gonna be a little bit out of normal what I would usually do, but wanted to kind of show these off and hopefully you enjoyed them. Thanks, guys.